You think no contact is a trick to make her miss you, but no contact isn't a tactic. It's a mirror. And if you stay gone long enough, she's going to be forced to look at what she lost, or at least what she thought she had. You're sitting there right now, replaying the last conversation, the last I'm done, the last cold look, the last I need space. You're thinking, if she really cared, she'd reach out. Or worse, if I don't reach out, she'll forget me. That's the addiction talking, not love addiction, because you trained your nervous system to equate contact with relief, and now you're withdrawing. So listen to me carefully. The silence isn't killing you. The meaning you're attaching to the silence is killing you. And before we go any further, subscribe right now. Not because I need a number, but because you need repetition. You need reminders. You need truth when your emotions start negotiating at 1 a.m. and you're about to send that weak message that costs you your dignity. Subscribe because you're not here for comfort. You're here for clarity. Here's the thesis. Here's what it really means. When you go no contact, you stop being available for her to manage. You stop being the emotional vending machine. You secret number one, deep insecurities. Too soon, stop being the guy she can pick up, put down, and keep in her pocket just in case. And that forces a psychological sequence inside her that most men never understand, because most men break before the process even starts. And we're going to walk it stage by stage with no fairy tales. Because regret is not guaranteed. Regret is earned. And if it comes because your absence exposes reality. Now let's build the reasoning ladder because you need to understand the mechanics or you'll sabotage it. The misconception is this. You believe no contact is supposed to make her chase you. Hard truth. No contact is supposed to make you come back to yourself. If she chases, that's a side effect, not the goal. Why it happens when you disappear? You remove the stimulus she used to regulate her emotions. You remove the certainty. You remove the attention drip. And the human brain hates uncertainty more than it hates pain. That's called loss aversion. That's called withdrawal. That's called cognitive dissonance, when what she told herself about you no longer matches what your behavior proves, what it costs you if you don't do it. You become the man she respects less every time you fold. You become the man who teaches her, I will always be here no matter how you treat me. You think you're proving love, but what you're actually proving is that you have no boundary. And the moment she learns you have no boundary, she stops feeling safe with you. Then she stops respecting you. Then she stops valuing you. Not because she's evil, because that's how attraction and respect work at the human level. Reframe. No contact isn't you punishing her. It's you ending the negotiation with your self-respect. Now, the 7 stages of regret she feels during no contact. If your silence is real, if your spine is real, if your identity. Secret number 2, past relationship obsessions isn't built on her mood. Stage 1 is relief. Yeah, relief. Because in the beginning, your absence feels like a weight off her chest. No arguments, no tension, no accountability, no emotional labor. She tells herself, this is for the best. She posts like she's free. She laughs a little louder. She looks a little unbothered. And if you're weak, stage 1 is where you break. You see her smiling online and you panic. You assume relief means you meant nothing. Wrong. Relief is just the nervous system exhaling after friction. It doesn't mean she won. It doesn't mean she's healed. It means the pressure changed. And you're not supposed to react to stage 1. You're supposed to let it pass like weather. Because if you reach out during her relief, you confirm the story that you're predictable. You confirm that your silence has a time limit. You confirm that she can do whatever she wants and still have access to you. That's called being owned. Stage 2 is curiosity. Curiosity is the crack in the armor. It starts small. He hasn't texted. He didn't like my post. He hasn't watched my story. He's really quiet. And her brain begins searching for explanation. Because when you used to chase and now you don't, it creates a gap between expectation and reality. That gap is power, not power over her, power over yourself. She starts checking. Not because she's in love, because she's confused, because she's used to you orbiting, and now you're not, and that changes the mental map. She might send a neutral message, something harmless, something that looks mature. Hey, hope you're doing well. She might even ask a practical question she doesn't need answered. That's not connection. That's a temperature check. That's called testing the leash. And if you respond like a starving man, if you pour your heart out, if you act grateful. Secret number 3, financial struggles without stability, that she finally threw you a crumb, you fail the test, and you don't even know you took it. Stage 3 is ego irritation. This is where regret begins to grow teeth, because now it's not just where is he, it's how is he okay? Your silence starts to feel like rejection. And let's be honest, a lot of people can handle leaving you. They can't handle you staying gone. Ego irritation is when she starts reframing your absence as disrespect. Not because it is, but because it removes her control. She might get sharper, colder. She might throw a jab. She might post something aimed at you. She might try to provoke you into re-entering the arena so she can feel powerful again. And this is where you need discipline. You don't answer disrespect with attention. You don't answer confusion with explanations. You don't answer a test with a confession. You answer with nothing. Or you answer with calm, minimal clarity if it's truly necessary. Because you are not a performer, you are a man. Stage 4 is nostalgia. This is where the highlight reel starts. The brain is not an honest historian. It's a biased editor. When you're gone long enough, the arguments fade first. The frustration fades second. And what remains are the scenes that felt safe, the jokes, the routines, the way you showed up, the moments she took for granted because they were always available. And nostalgia is dangerous because it feels like love, but it's often just comfort. Comfort is not commitment. Missing you is not choosing you. So don't get drunk on the idea that nostalgia means she's coming back ready to build. Nostalgia just means your presence mattered, and it did. But the question is, will you require respect this time, or will you accept a rerun of the same pain because you're lonely? Stage 5 is comparison. This is the stage most men never reach because they interrupt it. Comparison happens when she tries to move forward, tries to distract, tries to replace, tries to be fine, and reality starts whispering because the new attention doesn't hit the same. The new guy doesn't know her patterns. The new conversations are secret number 4, emotional dependence. Signals shallow. The novelty wears off and your absence becomes a measuring stick. Not because you were perfect, because you were consistent, because you had a certain weight, a certain gravity. And if you were a man with standards, if you didn't beg, didn't gravel, didn't collapse, your value rises in her mind as time passes because the memory of your self-respect grows. That's called delayed valuation. People appreciate what they can't easily access. Stage 6 is regret. Real regret is not I miss you. Real regret is I misjudged you. Regret is the moment she realizes she didn't just lose attention. She lost a man who could have been stable, a man who could have led, a man who had depth, a man who had loyalty until loyalty turned into betrayal. And regret hits hardest when she understands the difference between a man who loves her and a man who has no options. Because when you disappear and rebuild, you stop looking like a man pleading for validation. You start looking like a man who simply chose himself. And that forces the most uncomfortable question inside her. Did I lose him because he was weak, or did I lose him because I didn't value what I had? That question hurts. That question is honest. Stage 7 is reach out or replacement. And you need to hear me. Stage 7 is not automatically a happy ending. Sometimes she reaches out sincerely. Sometimes she reaches out selfishly. Sometimes she reaches out because she's lonely. Sometimes she reaches out because another situation disappointed her. Sometimes she reaches out because your absence made her face her own choices. And sometimes she doesn't reach out at all because regret can turn into pride. Pride can turn into denial. Denial can turn into distraction. And she'll keep moving because that's easier than admitting she mishandled you. So what do you do with that? You stop making your life dependent on which outcome she chooses. Because the entire point is this. No contact is not about her stages. It's about yours. Your stage is withdrawal. Your stage is detox. Your stage is rebuilding your standards. Your stage is becoming the kind of man who's secret number 5. Your fear of losing her doesn't need anyone to validate his worth. Let me define something for you. If you're doing no contact to get her back, you're still attached. If you're doing no contact to get yourself back, You're becoming free. That's called self-relimation. Now let's talk about the archetype. The man who wins here, not wins her, wins himself. He doesn't announce his boundaries, he lives them. He doesn't threaten no contact, he chooses it. He doesn't post to make her jealous. He builds quietly. He doesn't sit around interpreting every signal like a desperate investigator. He has a mission. He has a schedule. He has things to do that matter. He trains his body because discipline is identity. He cleans his environment because order is self-respect. He tightens his finances because security is masculinity. He keeps promises to himself because that's how trust is built internally. He doesn't hate her. He doesn't villainize her. He simply stops volunteering for pain, and that's the energy that creates real attraction, whether with her or anyone else. Groundedness, scarcity created by standards, calm created by purpose. Now the actionable part, not theory. Action. Do this. Stop checking her social media. Stop scanning for clues like your life depends on it. Because every time you check, you reopen the wound and you teach your brain to crave the hit. Stop sending closure messages. Closure is a story you tell yourself to justify one more contact. If you needed closure, you would have gotten it when respect was still on the table. Stop asking mutual friends about her. That's outsourcing your self-control. That's you trying to touch the stove with a glove and pretend you're not touching it. Redirect the energy. If your hands want to text, you write, you journal, you dump the thoughts onto paper. Not to be poetic, to be clean. If your chest feels heavy, you move. You lift, you run. You fight the emotion through the body because emotion is physiological before it is philosophical. If your mind spins at night, you build a night routine like a man with a mission. Shower, read, phone. Out of the room, sleep like you respect tomorrow, and you set one non-negotiable. You do not break silence to relieve anxiety, because if you break silence to relieve anxiety, you train yourself to choose short-term relief over long-term respect. You stop, you stop, you stop. You stop negotiating with your loneliness. You stop romanticizing someone who chose distance. You stop chasing people who benefit from your instability. And you start acting like the man, the right way to show vulnerability. You'd be proud to be, even if she never comes back. Now, what if she reaches out? You don't punish. You don't gush. You don't fold. You evaluate. Is she taking responsibility or just fishing for attention? Is she offering repair or just offering conversation? Is she respecting your boundary or testing if it's still real? And if she wants access to you again, you require standards calmly, clearly, no speeches. Because your life is not a waiting room, it's a kingdom, and access is earned. Here's the cost. If you don't learn this, if you keep chasing, you lose twice. You lose her respect and you lose your own. If you keep begging, you turn love into a transaction and you become smaller in your own eyes. If you keep living for her reaction, you will never be stable. You will never be free. You will never feel like a man who can stand alone. And that's the real tragedy. Not that she left, that you forgot who you were when she was there. So let me hit you with the identity reset. You are not a man who needs to be chosen to be valuable. You are not a man who has to prove his worth through suffering. You are not a man who trades dignity for a maybe. You are the answer. Your discipline is the answer. Your boundaries are the answer. Your purpose is the answer. And whether she regrets it in 7 days, 7 weeks, or final message, strength, mystery, and respect never at all. You will be fine because your stability is not borrowed from her attention. That's what no contact is. You returning to center. And if you want more of this, more truth, more clarity, more direct coaching when your emotions start lying to you, subscribe. Not for me, for you. Because the world will hand you 1,000 excuses to fold, and you need a place that hands you 1,000 reasons to stand. You're not alone in this. You're with men who are done being controlled by impulse, men who are done being half-respected, men who are building quiet strength. Stay in the room, stay in the work, and stay gone until you become the kind of man you'd never abandon.